Hello and welcome into a Monday edition of the Computer America Show. We've got a great show planned for you. In our first hour, Bitdefender is going to be talking about their brand new product called the Box. And the Bitdefender Box, which is hardware that protects not only your computer, but just about every other thing that you have that's connected to the internet. This is for home, for office. We're going to be hearing more about that. We have one of Bitdefender's senior senior e-threat analyst, Bogdan Watazatu, is here with us, and he's going to be with the first hour. And then in the second hour, we're going to do computer and technology news. That's brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. We'll be starting in
1 minute until showtime.
In 1 minute. Stand by.
That was really convenient. Like, you have that incredibly well timed. Did that 1 minute until showtime work its way into the?
No, I have it timed perfectly.
Yeah, that really crucial pause really brought it together. No, you anticipated that very well.
I did. 30 seconds.
Sure. When we cue the lights, the laser lights. Gotta have laser lights.
That's in the next hour.
That's the next hour. No, we'll have to get some of those installed. I can't believe you actually don't have laser lights. I mean, if you think about all the stuff, all the incredible lighting just generally around your home.
Live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
I'm your host, Aaron Crossman. Hello, world.
Well, as you can tell, that's not Ben. No, Ben is off tonight, and he'll be back with us tomorrow. So sitting in for them is my executive producer and Ben's brother, Aaron. Hey, Aaron. Welcome to the show. How are you?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing fine. You know, it's been an interesting day. So
yes.
But Ben will be back with us tomorrow night, same time, same channel, and it's going to be very interesting. We really have an interesting lineup of shows for this week, and which reminds me, if hopefully all of you got your weekly newsletter, the show reminder that went out at 9 o'clock this morning. Now, if you haven't received it and you thought you were on it because we moved over to a new service, that means somehow you fell between the cracks and you're not there anymore. You need to go and register for the show, the weekly show reminder, re-register. Now, if you're not sure, just go ahead and register anyway. Go onto the show notes, and if you say, register for it, and it says you're already on the list, then you'll have to worry about it. Okay?
That's on the website, right?
Yeah, it's right on the website.
ComputerAmerica.com, show notes, and the sign-ups right there.
Yeah, exactly. They can't believe Ben is off in the chat room. They think we're setting him up for a joke. No, he really is off tonight. He's on the road, but we'll be back tomorrow. And
I am a pale substitute, but hopefully we get by. That pale. What do you mean?
And then hour 2, we're going to have computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So we got a great show lined up, and unless there's anything else you want to talk about before we get started, Aaron, you think you're gonna be fine?
No, let's do this. I am excited about this guest, to be honest with you.
Well, good. Okay, well, our guest tonight is Bitdefender, all one word. And tonight you're going to hear all about the amazing new Bitdefender box. Now, the idea here is that it's not just for your computers. It's really for everything. I mean, once connected to the internet, every device, even smart TVs, smart appliances like fridge, thermostats or gaming consoles are vulnerable to malware that silently does its work. Well, Box protects everything else that's in the home. I mean, PCs, Macs, Android, even iOS tablets and phones alike. They're all protected by this one little box. It's just like an antivirus, but for your home network. Now, joining us is Bogdan Botazatu. We call him Bob. Bob is Bitdefender's senior e-threat analyst. Bob, welcome into Computer America. How are you, sir?
Hi guys, and thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be on your show and actually talking on the radio about this in premiere. We haven't pretty much talked about the box before because it was a highly secret project. We've spent our past 2 years working on it, and it was a huge challenge to do it. I mean, it's the first antivirus shipping into a hardware box, not a cardboard box.
So are you saying that the secret is out of the box?
Now, yes.
Okay, just okay. All right. So, so why don't you give us a little bit of overview about Bitdefender first before we get into the product? Tell us a little bit about the company, how long you've been around, and what a senior e-threat analyst does for Bitdefender.
Bitdefender has been around 2002 under the name Bitdefender. Before that, we were Softwin, and we were still doing antivirus. So we started doing antivirus security solutions in late 90s. We have 15 years under the brand Bitdefender. We're located in Bucharest, Romania. This is southeastern Europe, and our products have become quite the consumer's choice lately because we have been awarded 5 years in a row the Antivirus of the Day award. So now, even if our software is doing good, we decided to experiment with something else, something out of the box, innovative, and try to provide a layer of security that's worthy of the upcoming things in the IT industry.
Now, are you making this move to hardware because I mean, obviously the landscape of malware has changed enormously in the past 10, 15, 20 years, and it's getting to the point where malware is becoming so difficult to protect against. Do you think that the software solution is not necessarily to go, that a hardware solution is somehow better? Because hardware is usually fast. You know, you hear, well, if they're going to do something in hardware, you can do it in software. It's always better to do it in hardware. It's just more costly, but you get better speeds, and you're getting something more direct. It doesn't have to go through the CPU of the computer. It's like a standalone device. Is that one of the reasons why you decided to go this route?
We ran out of possibilities with software because in the traditional way, the antivirus is doing its job okay to date. But you can only protect, as I said, traditional devices like tablets, like PCs, laptops. You cannot protect the new devices that show on the market and connect to your network. For instance, there is no antivirus solution, no software antivirus solution for an IPTV camera or for a baby monitor or for a smart TV like I have behind. You know, these devices connect to the internet, but you just simply cannot protect them with software. These are locked down boxes that the vendor tries to protect by denying the user access to their software. You know, you cannot just browse a web page and pick an antivirus for your smart TV to date. So we had to move past the antivirus, the software antivirus, just because there was only so much that we could do with it.
Right, and obviously, I know you were just back from the CES 2015. We were out there as well, and we're going to continue talking about all the different things that were shown out there throughout the week. But one of the things that CES 2015 showed us was how many devices can be connected to the internet nowadays. I mean, it's the Internet of Things, and we've seen refrigerators, washing machines, dog tags, cars. I mean, all these things are now being connected to the internet. And let me ask you this: you're an e-threat analyst. Is that a good thing, from a security standpoint, to have all these things hooked up to the internet?
Yes and no. The fact that
I love that definitive answer. Okay, yes.
No, it's not evasive. It's just that maybe if something can be connected to the internet, it's not necessarily good to connect it to the internet. You mentioned that there are smart TVs and fridges and appliances that you can use regularly. But how about, for instance, mission critical devices like smart locks? When things don't that you connect to the internet do not pose an immediate threat to your safety, it's okay. But when somebody can unlock your door, your front door, or disable your alarm system because of a flaw in these devices firmware, well, you started to think about security. And these devices do not come with security because most of the times their vendors try to rush them to be the first on the market, to ride on a specific wave, like getting things ready for Christmas when people buy these things. And security is often overlooked. So we had to deal with we had to make some decisions, to take some decisions. What do we want? Do we want this user to be able to adapt these technologies and we to be able to deliver protection, or do we leave things just as they happen?
I think it's actually a very clever way to create sort of an antivirus for a lot of these devices that are on the Internet of Things that are populating our home these days. You know, you point out that it is difficult to install antivirus on some of these devices because there's no way to directly install it because of lack of interface. But it's Bitdefender, and you can probably explain this a little bit better than I could. I'm certain you can. Bitdefender kind of inserts itself between these devices that we cannot, change the firmware on and the router. So in that way, it can kind of connect it can protect the pathway between the internet and these devices rather than directly installing on the device itself. Right? I mean, do you think you could explain a little bit more about how I see, for example, there's a smart TV behind you. Is that directly installed on that TV, or how is Bitdefender protecting that TV behind you?
When we looked for ways to implement this technology, we analyzed what exactly happens into an IoT ecosystem, and it was obvious that the common point of entry was the network, right? So we said, why not build an appliance that sits on the network and scans all the internet traffic in and out, make sure that there's nothing wrong going into your network, and making sure that if a threat is detected, it's going to be blocked before it gets executed on the client that requested it. Because the last couple of years have been marked by web exploits. For instance, you tap into a web page, if it holds an exploit inside, when it's rendered into your browser, it's already over. It's too late. You got infected, and we are now trying to block these threats at the box level before they get rendered on your device. If they get to your device, it's over.
Sure.
So yeah, we built a box somewhere down there.
Yeah, and that a site too. That's a nice thing. It really doesn't have to be on your desk. It could just be up at the connection point, right, near the router. It could be in a closet. You don't really have to look at it. I'm looking at a picture of the box right now. Is there any kind of indicators on there that I would really need to look at?
Yes, it has a status LED that flashes, that stays lit. It's the teal status LED. As long as it's lit teal, everything is okay. If it flashes red, something is wrong. But most of the times, if it flashes red, chances are that your internet connection is down, and that's it.
Yeah, although I have to say it's very attractive looking. This is not a piece of a rack-mounted piece of hardware or something that that would be better in the closet. This is actually an attractive-looking little box. It's very small, very innocuous. It's only maybe it's the size of a Roku. It looks like or an Apple TV. It's a very, very tiny little box, and it's very stylish looking. So maybe something you'd like to put on your desk. but especially if that indicator is going to let you know that something's going, something is happening that you need to know about or check it. Now, when it's teal, everything is running well. But let's say it turns red, and I still have my internet connection. What can I do? Is there any kind of software on? I mean, how do I access the box?
The box can be accessed via an iPhone or Android application that's installed on your smartphone, and it's going. This app is going to serve as a notification center and as a management center. For instance, whenever a new device connects to your network, to your router, you don't need to connect to the box like ever. After you've completed the setup, that's it. You connect to your router, to your wireless network, as usually. And the box will sense that there's a new device on your network, and the box will also push a notification to your smartphone saying, "Hey, I've just got a new device on my network. Do you know about it? It's an, say, iPhone 6. Do you want? Is it yours? Is it a guest device? And if it's yours, would you like to manage it in depth?"
Mm-hmm.
So. You're always in control. You know when a new device connects to your network, and you can also enforce policies to that device.
Okay. So this isn't setting it up and having it there, but so let's say someone tries to maliciously access your network or tries to do something bad. I mean, is the box going to give me some sort of indication or let me know that there's an attack that's happening on my network?
Yes, every malicious action detected on the network is also pushed to your phone as a notification. It's going to show you the origin of that potential threat and the target device. So I always know that my wife's PC was the target of a blocked threat. Mm-hmm. I can easily identify which device is problematic, what type of threat, and when it happens.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Wow. So here's, I'm ashamed to say I actually use a kind of an older phone. I'm trying to upgrade, but let's say you don't have access to that Android or iPhone app. Does it have any connectivity with more conventional devices, tablets or computers, desktops, laptops?
To date, we only support the configuration app on a smartphone. But if you don't have a smartphone, for instance, I don't think that this is the right security product for you. We have kind of built this for people who have lots of devices in their home. Yeah. Some of them are manageable, some of them are not, are just standalone devices doing their job on the network. If you don't have a smartphone, chances are that you're going to have one PC or two PCs. Or maybe you're going to have one PC and no router, right?
And a traditional antivirus would definitely fill that need right there.
You can go with the software products. It's easier and cheaper,
Yeah. So,
okay. All right. So now we're talking about the Internet of Things, and we're talking about all these devices, and are we speaking pretty much on a hypothetical level here, or have these things been out long enough that you can give us some real life examples of people's appliances being attacked and what they do?
This is, things have gone much more serious. We're not theoretizing what could happen with the Internet of Things. We've already had the incident with the spam sending smart fridge, for instance. A couple of researchers found out was just analyzing spam samples, and they were like, this spam message has an awful header. Let's go and see what's it. And when they analyzed that spam message, they realized that it was sent by a smart fridge. And it makes sense because that thing is always powered on, has enough computing power to send messages. It runs Linux after all. And you have no way to detect what's going on between the smart fridge and the real world unless you're sniffing traffic or doing some advanced man-in-the-middle traffic inspection. So yes, we had also that baby monitor incident in which outside hackers connected inside the household and yelled profanities at infants. I mean, that's not only dangerous, it's sick, And
yeah, I was going to say that's
did not happen.
the lowest of the lowest things that you can think of. Unfortunately, there are people out there that will do that. Kind of.
Yeah.
Well, it's also if I mean this whole Internet of Things is very new and it's growing, and just devices that you wouldn't even think, like a refrigerator, are being, attached to our infrastructure. And I think to a certain extent for hackers, there's a challenge element. Someone said, "Hey, that refrigerator is connected to the internet. I wonder if I can hack that."
Why
And then
not?
they do.
Yeah,
You
well,
know.
what can they do? I mean, can they turn your refrigerator off so the next day in the morning everything is melted? I mean, what can they do? I mean,
Well, I mean, there was he just told us a great example about how they basically turned someone's refrigerator into a spam sending
right? Yeah.
maniac.
Mhm.
But think of this in a different way. I was to Vegas and had a nice room, at a hotel there, and they were using this automatic billing service. Whenever you would lift a product off the shelf, you would get instantly billed, and the guys at the hotel were notified that you had run out of that specific beverage, right? So imagine that. A smart fridge could keep evidence, could track inventory. And what if at some point you're going to get a message, hey, you ran out of eggs, or better yet, that fridge would order eggs for you, and you that end up with a truck full of eggs at your doorstep, and you're like, and now what? The opportunities are endless. Of course, hackers would rather go for something that can be easily monetized. They want to make money out of it. Why not build a botnet out of these Internet of Things devices and start DDoSing servers? You have hundreds of millions, potentially. Let's say that in 5 or 4 years, 4 or 5 years, we're going to have a lot of IoT devices. A botnet of that scale could sell for a lot of money. You could inflict huge damage with the DDoS attacks. You could basically rent it to hackers to knock off websites.
Yeah.
It seems to me as technology becomes more pervasive to make our lives easier. The flip side of that coin is that it just affords more opportunities for malicious access to these
Uh, I'm
devices.
not, but that almost sends the wrong tone. I mean, yeah, it's as these tools get more powerful, then they can be used for more evil. But I mean, it's if we're gonna have, I mean, I've been reading articles all day, in preparation for this that says, I mean, the general mood is, the Internet of Things, cloud computing, big data has the potential to really save a lot of energy, a lot of resources, to make our lives much more convenient, to help us, if should we forget something small, then, these devices that are tracking our patterns can say, hey, maybe you should just make sure you did lock your door. I mean, and it's just really small things like this. It just requires a little bit more, responsibility. And this is someone that you have to actively choose. It's not that our lives are going to be dominated by the internet one day. If you choose to incorporate a lot of these devices into your home, you have to understand their potential, understand what happens if you do not take care of these things, and you'll be fine. It's
I
just like
totally agree.
owning.
I
Yeah.
mean, you're not just going to go back to pen and paper to send mails, right? Just because email is dangerous. No, it's dangerous if you do it improperly or if you don't take the necessary precautions. And
Well,
that's why we have founded our business on, helping people stay safe on the internet.
well, I mean, you can apply that to anything, even that pen and pencil, paper and letters. Someone could send you a letter box, a bomb, or they can put anthrax in there. I mean, that doesn't assure you that you're going to be safe just because you're using paper.
I am still going to read my mail.
This never crossed my mind.
Yeah. I don't have that many enemies. Craig, apparently, you might want to look over your shoulder, man.
You can't blame it all on technology. I mean, there's always been bad out there. You can't have a front without a back. When you have good, you have the potential for bad, and I think that's just the human condition, and that's how we are. And we just have to,
Well,
do
but
what.
I mean, let's try to step back a little bit from the doom and gloom. There are people out there who are considering ways to abuse this technology. There are also, I think we're speaking to one of them, very inventive people who are trying to do the opposite end and protect us. And you know, it's our responsibility as the end user to understand that our refrigerator has enough computing power to do some interesting things and to do what we can to make sure that it's not going to run amok.
And
Is your refrigerator running?
yeah, you can't blame technology because, and again, I mean, you're not that young. You remember when there was all the anthrax scares with the letters and people were opening.
Man.
I mean, there was all that stuff. I mean, and it's nothing to do with technology. If people, are out there to do bad things, they're going to use whatever is available to them, whether it be tech.
And yet the Internet of Things is taking off. So
Yes.
what does that tell you about how optimistic or blissfully unaware the
Yeah.
average Internet user is?
Now, my question is, would you want to put a Bluetooth internet-connected lock on your front door? Would you feel comfortable with that now, or would you still want to wait?
Well,
I actually
well.
thought of buying one.
Because
No,
he is armed with the box.
extremely nice. At last year's CES, there was an electronic lock that could allow the owner to grant tokens. For instance, if my in-laws would rather come to my house today and I'm away, I could send them a smartphone token and allow them to open that lock for a specific time frame. It's awesome. I mean, how nice can it be? After the token expires, you can no longer open that door. So it's beautiful, but at the same time, every single mistake that the vendor has done is going to cost you whatever is removable in your home, right?
Yeah. But Bob, what if you send that token to your friends or something and that lets them in, but then somebody steals their phone? They don't realize it, so now they can use the phone to go to the house and go and have entry because they have.
Of course. Hopefully, that smartphone will not hold the address along with the token. It's like just like in hotels, if you have an RFID card, they're not going to note down the room number for you ever. So you have to know in advance which door that RFID tag opens.
As I said, whenever look, it's like it's been around since the human condition. I mean, when you invent a lock, someone's going to figure out a way to pick the lock, and then the locksmith's was going to figure out a better lock, so that pick won't work, and then
well, this is all getting down into the nitty gritty of cryptography, and this is why this is a whole nother topic of discussion. And I mean it's currently cryptography has the upper hand over the hackers. There's I think it's like 256-bit is currently unhackable.
Well,
unless you have like a supercomputer and plenty of free time,
or
a quantum computer.
The answer to that is quantum, because eventually the quantum computing will solve that, because the very nature of the physics is that if you look at it or observe it, it changes. So that's eventually what they're going to do, but we're not quite there yet. So
you needn't worry.
Or you can run this crypto on a botnet. If it's big enough, you have enough computer power. So you see, it only boils down to having a botnet to get access to resources.
Well, I have a question about the box. Actually, it's what's so interesting is you said you set it up once and you can basically forget about it, and it's going to do its thing quietly and protect your home, and it'll give you notifications on your phone.
Sure.
All these instances we were just describing are ways in which malicious people out there have been innovative. They've come up with new and interesting ways to make other people miserable. How does the box itself update? I know using a software solution, it might automatically update, or it does it, with such frequency. Is that necessary with a lot of these devices that don't have ever-changing firmware? Or
the box itself.
You have to buy a new one every week.
The box itself is just an interface between your network, your devices, and the place where all the magic happens in the Bitdefender cloud. So unlike traditional anti-malware solutions, you don't have to download updates, signatures, or whatever they're using. Everything when you generate traffic, we take specific patterns of that traffic, relevant patterns, and create what we call flags. For instance, the source IP, the destination IP, what type of traffic it is. We create a fingerprint of that traffic and ask the cloud, the Bitdefender cloud, if this pattern could be potentially malicious to one of the hosts on your network. So you don't have to update the box because we have offloaded all the processing in our cloud. When you're going to need a box update is when we build new features and deliver them to the customers.
That's brilliant. I mean, that is so what you've done is you've almost decentralized the protective element of the antivirus that I'm downloading all the time on my computer. You've basically almost is crowdsourced the right word and kept it on the cloud, and it can identify kind of what's good and evil out there based on what the public at large is seeing.
No, our intelligence comes from the artificial intelligence systems we're using. For instance, we see a new threat, right? We analyze it in the Bitdefender cloud. We correlate that threat with things we've seen before, and we can draw a pretty much accurate conclusion of what type of data it is, where it originated from, what kind of threat it poses, even for zero-day exploits.
Bob?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to interrupt you because we're at the bottom of the hour break here, and we'll continue on. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network. We're talking to Bitdefender about their box. We will be back with them. A new News Test Bulls review coming up next.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they are available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Here we go again. It's Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the ScanSnap iX100 mobile scanner. Our favorite cheaphead desktop scanner is a Fujitsu ScanSnap model, so when they told us about their iX100, we said send it. It's entirely portable, charged through a USB port. That's one option for connecting it to Windows or a Mac. The other is Wi-Fi, which gets even more interesting when you team it up with one of its apps for Android or iOS. It's a little smaller than, think rectangular solid, 1.5 inches by 2 inches, kind of squarish, by 11 inches, less than a foot long, and it unfolds the cover to become its paper pad. It comes with the same ScanSnap software suite to allow immediate scans to any of a variety of formats, including options using OCR, optical character recognition, turning those shapes of words into actual words. Bottom line, the very portable ScanSnap iX100 is a small and lightweight road companion that can easily save more than its own weight in the paper you don't have to take along. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
33 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Aaron and I are talking to Bitdefender. Bob is with us here. Bob, you're actually in. Where are you located? You in Romania? Is that where you are?
In Romania, Bucharest.
Oh, and so what time is it there right now?
Well, it's 5:33 a.m.
It's hard to speak in it.
Yeah, but on the right side, it's tomorrow. I mean, yeah.
Exactly. So, but anyway, we're talking about the box, and I'm sorry I had to interrupt you at the bottom of the hour, but why don't you continue on? Aaron had asked you the question. Why don't you just briefly ask him the question again, Aaron, and then continue.
Well, it seems like I was slightly off the mark, so it might be easier for him to just try explaining it to me again before I butcher it.
Don't worry, we have plenty of time. I mean, I must give you that the box is a very complicated thing to explain because it's the first of its kind. You know, there is no hardware-based antivirus solution to date available for the consumer. What I was telling you is that you know Bitdefender has been on the market for 15 years, and we have continuously innovated. One of our focuses for the past 5 years was to improve the artificial intelligence technologies that we are using in such a way that we can automate the analysis of threats. You know, we analyze about 440,000 viruses a day, and yeah, you cannot do that with regular people because we'd run out of tax. So we had to build up software solutions that analyze and correlate things and are able to identify like this threat was this malware was attached to this spam. So if you're receiving a spam that looks similar to that, chances are that it's going to be infected with a variety of this malware. So this scanning technology lives on the Bitdefender cloud and can provide almost instantaneously instant updates and verdicts for everybody. If a new threat is seen in Australia, it takes 3 seconds for the rest of the world to be aware of it.
Well, only 3 seconds.
So
yeah, it's the power of a data center and the grid, you know.
Yeah, in the cloud, and you know, we actually were talking. Well, I think it was the last time I was on the show. We were discussing some of the implications of big data and how they're turning you into a series of numbers and chewing you up, and you know, like what is identity anymore? It was very negative, but this seems like a very positive application of big data about how, you know, all of us can kind of pool our experiences with this malware, you know, and you know, especially this algorithm that Bitdefender has put together, you know, using its artificial intelligence, and because you know, this algorithm is itself decentralized. Once the update hits the cloud and every one of these boxes is, you know, communicating through the internet with, you know, the cloud at Bitdefender, then that is how. So that I get it now. So there, you know, the days of updating your antivirus software are potentially gone if, you know, with this technology, because you are constantly, as long as you are connected to the internet, you have the latest collection of anti-malware software.
Yeah,
Yes.
because antivirus really is pretty much dead. I mean there's so many ways around.
How dare you?
You know, really. I mean, because
Blasphemy.
what was it? They come
Get
up,
him, Bogdan.
they come up like 100,000 different variants, like a day. You know, that's going out there. I mean, it's just amazing. It's staggering the amount of.
Well, I mean, if you think about how many of these are being created each day, that's got to be automated. I mean, there's not like there's,
Of course.
100,000 people out there each making a new virus every day. So,
But
No,
yeah,
if-
a lot of it is automated, and they have bot kits, and they have all these different
and
good kits.
it sounds like Bitdefender has automated the flip side of that coin, of the detection of this malware. So we have computers fighting computers, and we all go about our lives enjoying.
That's the only way you can survive in this game. I mean, if these guys are automating things, and there are thousands of groups that do the same thing, operate in the malware business, we are hundreds of guys working in anti-malware. So we already lost the game. If you're not able to automate better and innovate in this field, you've lost the game. You lock down the office and go home.
How much technical knowledge does one need to set up a Bitdefender box?
It's as simple as following 3 steps into an iOS application or Android application. The Bitdefender box connects to the router, and it only needs the router's passwords, username and password. After you've provided the router's username and password, the box is going to automatically configure the router for the optimal performance and for it to work with the box.
And it works with the router. I mean, Netgear or Linksys. Any of the routers.
We support all major router makes and models in the world.
Okay.
So what about the bridging the gap between the router? So the box that we've mentioned before inserts itself between all of the devices in your home which are connected to the router by going from the router to the box to the devices, and the box itself is compatible with every major router. It almost seems if the router is capable of connecting to the internet, as in it's a router, then it seems like it's going to work with the box.
Definitely.
But we have all of these different devices, each and I was thinking about this before the show, and part of this might be a little bit of my ignorance about the Internet of Things because it is still so new. You could probably set me straight there, but there's no centralized standard for the Internet of Things. Every device is connected in its own unique way. There's no formal way to make sure they're all compatible. How do you develop a box that is not only compatible with everything being put out there, but everything that could potentially be put out there?
There were a couple of attempts to standardize the way the Internet of Things works. It was Zigbee, then 6LoWPAN, then a lot of other protocols that failed to be universally implemented. So pretty much every single vendor in the world went for what they knew, IPv4 or IPv6. So as long as your router and your device speaks IPv4 and IPv6, we don't really care, If it can connect to your wireless router, that's all we need, because we're sitting between the wireless router and the device. So there's no problem. If it's on your network, we can protect it.
Sure. Okay, that makes perfect sense.
Now, so we're talking about using the Bitdefender box to protecting, private network. But it's only on your home. I mean, if you leave your home, it can't protect your phone or the other things. Because then you or does it? I mean, how far? To talk about using the box away from your home.
Oh, yeah. So I see. So let's say you enjoy an e-reader at home, but you take it with you to local coffee shops. Can it protect you there?
This was actually I think the hardest thing to design and implement, because what's on your network is okay, it's automatically protected. But what kind of devices would you take outside of your home? You wouldn't take your IPTV camera, for instance.
I take my refrigerator.
So here is more of getting outside of your home traditional devices like tablets, laptops, and what's mobile in your house. For these almost traditional devices, we have extended features. When these devices are added to the family group that I mentioned before, you get an option to manage this device. And managing this device means, in mortal words, installing a thin client on them that stays in touch with the box and provides a secure tunnel, a private line between the box and the device. So you're not only going to have your conversations encrypted by default using the box, but you're always going to get those conversations scanned in real time. So if you're going to a local coffee shop and using an unprotected network like a Wi-Fi, people would be able to sniff that traffic, and maybe they can find out things about you. But if you're using this private line, all the traffic is encrypted. So even if people listen to that network, they won't be able to understand anything of your traffic. This feature is available for all mobile devices.
Okay. So, I have this might be a little bit more out there of a question, and if this sounds crazy, just say so. But I was, this was a couple of years ago. I was reading an article about how.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah, I know already. People reading? No way. People don't read anymore. No, but it was about how the infrastructure of the internet itself was becoming a little bit less, I guess decentralized is the word. Again, that seems to be the word. My word of the night is decentralized. But devices were actually communicating with each other, and the internet was, the Wi-Fi was being leapfrogged from device to device, and it was creating its own kind of, from the ground up, citywide Wi-Fi. I think it's actually experimental in some cities.
A mesh network, yeah.
Yes, a mesh network. That's the word. In instances like that, and this might be a little bit more charitable than I suppose an enterprise would be, but how would one protect themselves? Is this something that had been thought, like let's say you leave the home and you end up being connected to one of these mesh networks? I think what you just described actually is just sort of the device itself is encrypted, so that your device is protected even when you walk through a mesh network.
Definitely, because this was one of the key concerns. You don't know, with wireless, you don't know where you're exactly connected.
Yeah.
Is it a rogue hotspot set up by somebody in a crowded area that has a network name similar to the one you'd like to connect? Is anybody sniffing on that network passively? Mobility has definitely changed the game. And we had to come up with a solution that protects you outside of your home. And VPN was a very, very big hype in the last past years. But VPN can only secure your traffic, encrypt it, not make sure that it's uninfected. So we got the blend of both worlds. We have the VPN that offers privacy, and the Bitdefender technology is the scanner that secures the traffic.
Sure. So I mean that's everything you would need right there. Absolutely. I have to ask because it's just been the whole night. This is like catnip behind me. It's colorful and technical. What is going on that screen behind you?
I'd rather not go in detail.
Okay.
I can show you
Okay.
after
Okay.
the show.
Sure. No, I was actually, if you don't mind, I was checking out your Bitdefender's website, and there is an incredible variety of software packages out there for small business, end user, all different levels of protection, more so than the average antivirus. It seems like you guys really cater to any possible need that someone might have. Would you mind telling us just a little bit about some of the stuff to definitely check out on the website? What might maybe apply more to the home user for the conventional antivirus software you offer?
I'm sorry. I think the line broke.
Oh, basically you offer an incredible variety of software on your website. Could you tell us a little bit about some of the software that might interest the home user that's available, like the conventional antivirus?
We have a lot of products because we believe it's fun to create technology. So we have the Bitdefender Labs, which is a huge playground for us. We're a couple of folks in Bitdefender that come up with crazy ideas like immunizing an USB stick against malware. We developed that tool in, I think, 3 days, and because we had an idea how to stop malware from spreading via USB drives. And we did a brainstorming session. We came up with this product. Everybody loved it, so we're going to keep maintaining it indefinitely, even if the era of the USB worm has kind of dawned since the introduction of Windows 7. Well, we have removal tools for every single threat, major threat. We issue a free removal tool because we believe that basic protection should be everybody's right. You don't leave a guy infected just because it's not your customer. So every week we build up 2 or 3 removal tools which we're providing free of charge. We have the traffic light, which is a lightweight add-on for the browser. It scans your URLs in real time and prompts you if one address is infected. It shows you why we have blocked it. Is it phishing? Is it fraud? Is it a fake website? Do they provide unsecure shopping? There are a couple of technologies that we're really proud. And now that you've mentioned it, I wouldn't know which of them to pick.
I am
to talk about 3 of these.
you.
Oh, we have Quick Scan, which is also a great tool. It scans your computer in 30 seconds and tells you if there are any active instances of viruses on your computer.
How do you scan?
Browser.
Now, Bob, I don't understand that. I mean, 30 seconds. I mean, just to look at a hard drive and the content, especially this day and age where we have terabyte hard drives, how do you look at a terabyte or multi-terabyte hard drive in 30 seconds and tell if there's and give that kind of report? How do you do that?
I think that we learned what's relevant to scan and what's not. 50 years is a long time, you know. In 50 years, we realized that if you want to provide a quick overview of the security status, just watch the processes. Scan whatever is started on that machine and make sure that none of those processes are infected. If you have a dormant virus, like an executable file that's on your E drive and you have never started it, I won't be able to tell if it's there, but I'm going to be able to tell if your computer is running a virus.
You had me with the Good Samaritan. I'm switching. I am after the show. Before I even go to bed tonight, I am switching.
You gonna get a Bitdefender box?
Welcome to the club.
So no, I think that is an incredible philosophy that just because they're not your customer, they have a right to protection.
Well, no,
and that's
and
to hear.
There's a little conundrum which I need explained to me, Bob, and that is you come in with the Bitdefender box because you say, hey, we can't do it in software anymore. We have to have the hard. Yet you can still go to the Bitdefender website and you have Bitdefender.
Oh, that's because I'm one of those people who does not have an Internet of Things, and I have a terrible phone, Mr. Craig Crossman. Craig Crossman's son.
Yeah.
Terrible phone.
Well, explain. All right.
But I would be very well served with one of these software packages that you were just describing.
There are different people out there and they have different needs. So the fact that we have released the box does not mean that we're terminating the software line and throw it away. These products have been built in 20 years of hard work, so they're still relevant. I'm not saying the antivirus is dead. I'm just saying that there is a challenge doing antivirus on non-conventional devices, which are starting to be more and more often found in the market. We ran a study in US in September, and we we learned that 1 in 3 Americans is ready to buy a new Internet of Things device within 1 month. I mean, that we're seeing huge adoption, and if it keeps growing, there's going to be billions of devices in a couple of years.
And
So,
Sure.
and by that time, when they become relevant to hackers and hackers start hitting them, we need to have a fully mature and solid product that has been tested in the market. And it's not just technology testing, it's shifting the people's opinion. When I say, okay, I need security, antivirus security, 9 in 10 people would say, yeah, I'm going to buy a software antivirus and install it. They it's going to be a shock for them to get used to hardware-based security, because it's not common today. And people are animals of habit. You know, they know what they want because they have tried it and it worked or not.
Sure.
But you know, migrating the user from the software perspective to the hardware perspective is expected to be a difficult process.
well, this is also why we're going to IPv6, you know, because we're running out of addresses for all these devices that are around the corner. I mean, and it's nice to know that Bitdefender is supporting the IPv6 protocol.
Just really, really quick, I think I'm wondering, even though antivirus is, you know, much like our Internet of Things is moving to more of a, you know, group of devices and how you protect, you know, this is a hardware solution that seems to work very effectively. But does the conventional software still, is that still a source of innovation? Do you guys still get great ideas just working with, you know, the conventional software?
Of course, we built these technologies for the conventional antivirus, like what I told you, artificial intelligence, very aggressive heuristics, event correlation. These technologies have been designed in the past 2 years to help us increase the detection rate in the conventional products. Fortunately, we moved them to the cloud at the right time. So since they were available, we can just integrate them everywhere. Think of the Bitdefender cloud as a platform that can provide service for basically anything, including a hardware box.
Tell us when Box is going to be available for purchase and how much it's going to cost.
Bitdefender box is going to be available very, very soon. We're just wrapping up pre-orders. And it's going to cost $199, including the first year of service. After that, you can renew your yearly subscription for just $99.
Okay, so it's a subscription-based model. In other words, you just don't buy the box and that's it. It's like software too. I guess you buy the software, but you constantly have to get the updates and everything. So now
somebody has to maintain that Bitdefender cloud.
Right.
It incurs costs, you know. You have bandwidth, you have processing power.
Yeah. Not like your router, you buy it once and don't worry about it again.
But if you think forward, how many devices are we expected our users to have? About 10, right? So you have a PC, 2 laptops, 2 smartphones, maybe 2 tablets. If you add up the cost of individual licenses for each and every device, you're going to end up paying much more money than you would have for one Bitdefender box. And with Bitdefender box, I don't care how many devices you're protecting, as long as you can protect as many devices as your router can handle.
Okay, so there's no limitation there.
No, and you expand your protection from the traditional devices to devices that cannot run an antivirus.
No,
so you can have your thermostat, your security camera, your smart fridge, your washing machine, I don't know, whatever on the network, and it gets instantly protected.
Exactly, and it's all most of those devices use Wi-Fi rather than and using the router. It goes to the Bitdefender box first, and then you're all set. Sounds like you're all set. Well,
sure.
You know, this is a very cool product, and
Craig,
yes,
I would love to take this into the next hour. I have another great question, and I know there's more excellent
questions. You know, I know a guy who knows a guy who can set you up with one box.
No.
But yeah.
Well, it's up to Bob because I know it's late. It's early in the morning, and I don't know if you want to spend another half an hour with us. We usually, but Aaron says he has some more questions.
Please.
Can you stay with us another half an hour?
No problem. My day is just starting. I mean,
Perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
We're watching the screen behind you, and it looks like it's being infected. So maybe during the top of the you can fix that, and then we'll be back for our. I'm just kidding. Okay. So.
No, maybe I could go ahead and ask my question because it's kind of crazy and I don't want to lose it over the break.
Okay. All right. What is the
Okay,
question?
so I was thinking about this question in my head, and then I took it to the nth degree. So let me try to set it up for you. So it protects any device that's connected to your router. So then I was thinking, well, what if you scale up and you're at like an enterprise level and you connect it to, the main connection between your enterprise and the internet? Would it protect every device on your intranet? What about threats within the intranet? Would it be able to protect it? But then I said, okay, no, go really big, go crazy. What if you just plugged one of these things into the backbone of the internet? Could you just kill viruses just for everyone forever? Is that
you could, but you'd have to size the box. It's a 5 by 5 inch device unit. It eats up 5 volts. How much bandwidth can it carry? I think it's going to get fried instantly. Just plug it into the backbone and that's it. No, the internet becomes a safer place because nobody's going to get the internet.
All right,
It'd
Bob,
break it essentially.
we're gonna ask you to stand by because we're at the top of the hour here, and then we'll continue on. So you're listening to the Computer America Show on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network, and on the Blog Talk Radio Network. Aaron and I are going to be back with Bitdefender. Bob is going to continue on with us. He's the Bitdefender Senior E-Threat Analyst. Aaron evidently has some more questions for him, so we're going to pick that up at right after the top of the hour. We've got another brand new news tips bulletin review from Marty Winston. That's all coming up in hour 2 of Computer America. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live, it's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman. And we can't hear you, Aaron. So there he goes. You see, you had to mess around with it. Yeah, exactly. You had to mess with it, and so it was all working. And just for a few moments, he had to. Anyway, we are okay. He's going to have to come back. And it's interesting.
This is the literal saying: "If it works, don't mess with it."
But if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Is the other way of saying it. I think he's. Are you there, Aaron? Can you hear me? No. Okay. Well, anyway, as I said, we're coming back, and Bob has agreed to stay with us for a little bit more. Aaron had some additional questions for you, but let me ask you: you're out at CES as a Bitdefender's.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we hear you. Senior E-Threat Analyst. Anything that you thought was interesting out at the Consumer Electronics Show?
Well, everything was interesting there, but my kind of interesting, I don't think that my points of interest are the regular users. When I go through those aisles and see technology, I see vulnerability. Risk, hazard. There's been a lot of hype this year around the smart car, which I think is becoming a reality. I don't know why, because people used to love driving their cars, but now everybody wants a fully automated self-driving car, and I have a lot of doubt about the future of automotive when everything is going to be run by a computer. And I told you before that last year at Black Hat, we've seen a lot of people tampering the cars, trying to integrate deeper and deeper into the computer systems. And we're at one point in which you can actually take control over the steering wheel
Yes,
specific cars.
our, our other co-host is Charles Tendell. He's actually a certified ethical hacker, and goes to this goes to Black Hat and DEF CON and all these things. And he actually saw last year a demonstration that when they announced it of actually remotely taking over a car via the controls, and it was theoretical. They actually, I don't think they actually it was a proof of concept, but they were just showing that these things were possible, and but so obviously when you go there, you don't say, oh, look at that really nice look, it's quantum dot TVs, that we can, and with the curved screens, you're not looking at that stuff. You're looking at it from a different point of view. But you must find some of that interesting. Wow, ultra high definition TV, that would look great in my home. I mean,
Oh, definitely. Portable consoles. I spend a lot of time traveling, and while you're in a plane, you can only do so much. So what I really liked was the vendors' interest in portable gaming consoles.
Hmm.
And yeah, this is one thing I'd like to have for as a present. And speaking of presents, my birthday is coming really, really soon. So please feel free.
Then when it
We know someone who knows someone. He might actually know your guy with the box, actually.
exactly. So Aaron, now that you had
Yeah.
you had a question for Bob, that's why he decided to stay over. What?
Right. Well, first I just have to say that my headset, which is part of my Internet of Things, was not protected by the box.
You got hacked.
Yeah, I got specifically. It's fine. It's no, it's actually forgot to plug it in. No, no. We spent the first hour talking all about how about this new technology and Bitdefender and how they've been innovative and they've done all kinds of great things protecting people. But I mean, we were having such a really interesting conversation just before the show began about some of your travels, seeing a lot of these conventions, and I was wondering if you wouldn't mind. You already touched on some of them with the Black Hat convention. So you were at CES this year, and the box. Did you guys debut at Box? I'm sorry. Did the box debut at CES?
Yes, we had it on display. We showed it to people. A lot of these projects are more or less vaporware. There are great concepts, great ideas. People start building on them, and they either run out of funds or they find out that it's technically impossible to deliver. Well, we tried to keep a low profile and not announce the box until it was fully functional. So we demonstrated it. We showed the people that it's working. It's really intuitive. It looks great. And we tried to get people accustomed to running hardware security. The box itself is not a new concept. I mean, it's hardware-based security has been around for years in the enterprise environment, but those units cost about $100,000. They are very difficult to maintain and to configure, and they take up half of the living room. I mean, they're not suitable for the consumer. We built the box with the ease of use in mind, with an affordable price in mind, and we made it deliver similar performance with an enterprise environment.
How did I mean, these things cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're high tech. I mean, that was an ambitious project to sit down and look at each other at Bitdefender and say, we're going to come out with something for under $200. that can be used, in the home, and it's going to, be right up there with these hard to manage, incredibly expensive and large enterprise devices. I mean, what were you thinking? I mean,
No, please, I can take this one. What they did, Craig, was they leveraged those technologies that not half an hour ago you were saying were going to destroy the world.
That's the marketing answer. The tech answer is somebody lost a huge bet. Yeah, uh, that guy had to come up with an innovative solution, take responsibility for the project, and carry it to completion. No, I am kidding. There's been a lot of work involved here, and it's been a lot of work because when you're developing a brand new product, you don't have anything to take after. Usually it's very easy to copy a design or to reverse engineer a workflow and then implement it or make it better. But when you're the industry's first company that creates such a thing, you have to go trial and error, go back to the drawing board, find out that your solution is ineffective or it's not the best approach, cry a little, take a nap, go back to work, and this is what we've done for the past 2 years. It's been a lot of work and a lot of stress, a tremendous effort, but we finally made it happen. And whatever we were upset about, it's gone away. We're just happy and enthusiastic that we were the first ones to deliver a working solution.
How important was the crying to the creative process?
Oh, it's part of the game, you play hard, you party hard.
Sure. No, it's certainly a very well, you were just mentioning about how enterprise solutions tend to be massive and expensive and difficult to maintain. Was that sort of something that you guys really aimed at improving with the home user, and is that sort of because I really still am so impressed with your description of how it functions using the cloud. It almost seems like that's something maybe the enterprise solutions might have been lacking in the past, was sort of this everyone involved is sort of pooling their experiences with malware, and in that way we can all learn together how to prevent it or mitigate the threats. There's not really a question there, is there? Sure. No. Bravo. Excellent technology.
Seems to like it, Bob. So there you go.
It's impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive. So the product will be out shortly. We don't have an actual date yet, but it's not
It's going to be early February.
Into February. Okay. Well, okay. And again, if you're just joining us in this hour, we're talking about the Bitdefender box. You can see it and by the way, if you want to, you can see all this on our show notes page. Just go to our computeramerica.com and just click on the button right in the middle there. It says show notes. And when you do that, it'll open up another page where you can see today's date, which is January the 12th, and you'll see Bitdefender. We actually have a link right to the box homepage, and you can read all about it, and you'll see Bob is there as well.
I have a question, Bob. So if it's set up on your home network, let's say you have a guest visiting, would they also, if they connect to your Wi-Fi, therefore be protected? Is there some kind of approval that they have to go through?
As long as they are in your home and connected to your home network, they are going to be automatically protected. When they leave your premises, though, they're not going to be automatically protected unless they decide to have the device managed. But when you have the device managed, you also unlock these anti-theft features that let you see in real time where your phone is. You can remotely wipe it, and you can make it play a sound for easy identification. So I'm not sure that managing this device would work with a guest.
Sure. Might be a great source of practical joke.
Yeah.
Friend though.
Well, it's very useful to me because I always misplace my smartphones, and one of my biggest concern is that at some point I'm going to lose one, and it's not the smartphone itself that I'm interested in. It's my company data that's on it. So having a remote wipe feature would come in handy when
Oh, sure.
strikes.
That.
You haven't lost one yet, though, right? So.
No, I haven't. But I'm still I still think that it could happen to me.
Yeah. Well, maybe you've been in this business for a long time.
It's actually a very, very clever feature. Although I have to say, it almost seems a little out of character. Someone who does e-threat analysis would be the last person I'd suspect of, where's my phone?
It happens.
Oh yeah.
Not that I'm not careful enough with it, but it can get stolen easily. I mean, it's a phone. You can lose it in a number of ways, and you will only realize that when you need it. So that's enough window of opportunity for everybody to try to work around the lock screen.
I will never lose mine because I have mine to a Kevlar chain that is around.
Yes. That is an accurate statement.
Right, and it will never leave my.
Sure. No, but it's actually not even about losing your phone. These devices are expensive, and I know just a few short years ago I was a student at a university, and they tell you to keep it in eyesight. Don't ever walk away from your possessions because people love to snatch these devices up, and they are. I mean. If you're fortunate enough to own one, then you most likely know the price tag associated with it, and anything you can do to make sure that if it does get stolen from you, you can find it. What's on it is protected. I mean, This is critical if you're going to own one of these devices.
I always wondered about that. I find my iPhone, so if it's going, I can find it, and it takes me to the place where the person stole it, and I'm standing at the front door. Do I really want to go in there?
Don't.
Do not do that.
Do not attempt to recover the phone by yourself. You can end up killed. I mean, seriously, there have been instances in which people have gone to get back their phones and ended up dead. So no, this is not the right procedure. Call the police.
Right, and say, I know where my phone is. Can you go get it?
Yeah, but there's little to no use knowing where your phone is when it shows up in Turkey, for instance, or in Spain.
I can call the Turkish police,
Well, this might be more, me watching too many sci-fi movies, but is it possible to, let's say someone does take this device and they ship it to some other country? You said you can wipe it. Well, does that mean like destroy it, or is this just wipe all of your personal data? So that way at least you're protected.
Just a restore to factory default.
Yeah.
Okay.
Turn it into
which means all of your personal information. There's no more risk of identity theft.
Yes.
But it would be nice if you could find a way to
to break the phone,
hotwire it so the battery burns his back pocket really, really hot, and he's really uncomfortable whenever he sits down, something like that.
I'm not sure about this, but I think at some point Google was mentioning something about protecting the restore to factory default setup, because there's a new rule in California that should kick in really, really soon. It's about disallowing a stolen phone from ever working again. I think that with the right APIs and with the right integration with the operating system, you could achieve such a thing, like having a new feature, destroy my phone for good.
I don't know. It's really tough, because who's going to decide if a phone was stolen or if a phone was sold because you want to upgrade? Does Google make that decision? Because I'll tell you now, Google's just going to break every phone they can to keep people buying new ones.
No, I believe that the process will have to have the police's involvement, and
I see.
You have to declare it as lost or stolen prior to having it destroyed, And it's only you, the legit owner, the registered email address with that device, that can initiate this permanent lockdown.
I'm sorry, we have a caller who's calling in from Connecticut, so we'll take the call and see how that goes. Computer America, Craig Crossman. Hi, how are you? You have to turn your radio down. I guess that I guess he must have just been listening to us. Okay. Normally we screen our calls, but Ben is not here tonight, so I figured I'd take a shot at it. I think we'll hold off on the phone calls until tomorrow. Anyhow, as I said, so do you have any other questions for Bob, Aaron? Or are we? We have. Bob, yeah, Bob, I want to thank you so much for being with us here today. And
Thank you for having me tonight.
It is very rare that I actually manage to exhaust every single question that pops into my mind. Thank you for humoring.
And again,
this.
And go to the website again, bitdefender.com/box. You can, or just from bitdefender.com, and you can see it there for yourself. Or you can go to our show notes page at computeramerica.com, and we have the link there for you as well. Bob, thanks so much for being with us here on tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
See you soon.
Thanks so much. Oh yeah.
All right, have a good one. Good night.
Good night, Bob. Good day, Bob.
Good day. Yes, exactly. Good All right. Okay, so let's go now. I think what we'll do is we'll head over and do some computer news.
Sure.
All right, so let's do that. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right, Kimo-Sabe. Everything there at Slimware Utilities website is completely free. It's not a freemium model. You know, they don't charge you after you use it for a certain amount of time. They don't do any of that. Everything there is completely free. What we use them here at the Crossman household. I highly recommend that you go to the website slimwareutilities.com and download everything there, install them, or use them when you need them, because eventually you will, because they really do clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. You'll be happy you did, and you'll thank us for it. slimwareutilities.com. And in this first story from Tech News World, we'd mentioned this briefly about a week ago, but Skype begins dismantling the language barrier. No more the Tower of Babel, but actually, you know...
it's Star Trek, man.
Yeah, I mean...
Translators, real-time translation technology.
Microsoft today announced the first phase of its Skype translator preview program. Remember, Microsoft now owns Skype. They purchased them out, and they announced that they're going to. They just announced the first phase of this, which initially will facilitate conversations between English and Spanish speakers. The translator will convert spoken words both ways. It will also translate instant messages in 40 languages. Translations occur in near real time. Now, participants must run Windows 8.1 or Windows 10 Technical Preview on a desktop or tablet. Basically, children in two schools, the Peterson School in Mexico City and the Stafford Elementary School in Tacoma, Washington, have tried out the Skype translator, this according to Microsoft. Now, here's how it works according to the story. Skype's translator's automatic speech recognition conducts a deep neural network analysis of what was said in a conversation, comparing the words spoken against snippets of millions of previously recorded samples. The audio then is transformed into a series of words in text that apparently correspond to the meaning of what was stated. Now, that's just the beginning of the process, by the way. Next, the system corrects the speech, removing disfluences such as or and repetitions. It then picks the most likely word from the list of words that sound like what was said. The selected words are translated into another language, then converted to sound. That is, and that's easier said than done, but you know.
Here's what I want to know. I mean, this is still early technology, and this might be, more humorous and practical, but how robust is this technology? Could it handle a conversation between a Spanish speaker from Barcelona who speaks with a lisp? Because that's very typical of let's just say it's a Spanish speaker with a lisp, and Elmer Fudd, who has this I forget the word, but their R's and their W's, the Wascally Wabbit. Would it be able to figure out what these two people are trying to say to each other, or do you have to speak fairly accurate English and Spanish in order to communicate?
Not according to this statement. No, you don't.
Well, it says ahs and ums and repetitions, but it doesn't say anything about, well, stuttering maybe. That's kind of a repetition, but just various speech.
They're saying by the very nature of it is it's speaker independent, which means you don't have to train it, and that it works directly without any training. Now here, let's get into the technical underpinnings of the system, according to the story again from Tech News World. In 2011, researchers at Microsoft came up with a new context-dependent model for large vocabulary speech recognition that they published in 2012. The architecture is a hybrid of deep neural network and hidden Markov model technology that modeled DNNs using cenomes, reducing errors by 16%. The team also used general-purpose graphics processing units to train and decode speech. The researchers built giant artificial neural networks to train their speech recognition system. One of them contains more than 66 million interneural connections and is the largest ever created for speech recognition.
See, but that doesn't tell me, 66 million. No.
Let it continue on. It says training took about 20 days and consisted of creating a new, slightly more refined model every few hours. When tested against Switchboard, a phone call transcription benchmark, the system achieved a word error rate of 18.5%. That is 33% better than current state-of-the-art conventional systems. Skype's translator accuracy is a major concern, though, as blunders can have unintended consequences. There will be translation mistakes, warned the head of the Center for International Business Education and Research at San Diego State University. How could someone detect or catch it if a mistake is made in the translation? Well, much of a conversation consists of body language and facial expressions and nonverbal communication that would not be translated using this type of service, of course. I mean, look, let's say I look at you, I say, have a nice day. Well, I can say, and I can be totally, I just want to tell you to have a nice day, or I could be sarcastic of, yeah, you have a nice day. It's the same words, but it has a totally different meaning. So tonal inflection and facial expressions are very, very much a part of how we communicate when we speak, and that would not be here. But that's not what they're trying to do.
Why they invented sign language, Craig?
Yes. Well, much of a conversation, even then, that's still a problem. Much of a conversation consists of body language, facial expressions, right? This gentleman says, I use Skype, but I don't want to rely on a computer for the nuances in a conversation. This is from the professor of international business at San Diego State University. Artificial intelligence is getting better, but I think having a human translator would let you find out how accurate your stuff is. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
obviously, if it's the enterprise level, if you are a multi-billion-dollar corporation, you're going to employ some translators who would be able to do the job much more effectively. But for something just for bridging the communication gap between different humans across the planet, this is very exciting and very new.
Well, they also
I think we should move on to the next article.
Well, they say they're possible.
I think we should. No.
I just want to read that there said there are possible uses for this.
Nope. And if you read the entirety of the next article, I'm going to drive to Asheville and bludgeon you.
Well, this is an important point, though. I want people to understand.
I am more interested in the underpinnings and not the text.
Okay.
All right. There is some interesting stuff happening out there in the world, and we're not going to be able to get to it all if Craig's read along hour continues.
Why don't you pick the next story, because it's your turn. You take some.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, you might have to click the link for me. Poor tactical planning on my part, but if I look at the list of articles, then it would sign me out of Google Hangouts.
Oh, well, okay. Well, then I'll go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all those articles are going to be fantastic. Let's see what comes up next.
All right. Well, this one is from CNET and says artificial intelligence experts sign open letter to protect mankind from machines. Now, any of you Terminator fans out there know all about Skynet and knows what happened, when we let machines become sentient
Sure.
and become self-aware. I mean, so many of our science fiction movies, the Terminator series, The Matrix, all that stuff is that when machines become, and without exception, um, except maybe one that I can think of, the machines always turn out to be malevolent. Okay.
Oh, well, I mean, there's iRobot, where there's the one good one.
Yeah. Ultra
Um,
transcending.
there are two good robots in Star Wars, but then in the next three movies, they're all bad.
Well, here's the thing. And
Mhm.
according to the story, the Future of Life Institute
Yeah.
wants humanity to tread lightly while developing really smart machines, according to the story. And they said we're decades away from being able to develop a sociopathic supercomputer that could enslave mankind, but artificial intelligence
Skynet.
are already working to stave off the worst, when, not if, machines become smarter than people.
Sure. So, I mean, the gist of the article, I think, is really summed up nicely, and there's one little anecdote somewhere in there that says, we were just talking about smart driving cars. Well, what happens if your smart driving car detects an oncoming collision and has to make the choice between colliding with the car in front of it or running over the bicyclist beside it? How is that car going to make that decision? I mean, we would know as humans that bicyclist doesn't stand a chance against a car. You're better off slamming on the brakes and hoping that that car is built to protect you more so than that bicycle is to protect that bicyclist. And so that's something that this is an open letter of, ethicists, philosophers. I'm not sure exactly what their title would be, but they want to make sure that when these decisions are being made, they're being made with human oversight and they're being made ethically and not just by some algorithm that says, oh, well, yeah, the least damage to my car comes from running over that bicyclist instead of slamming into the car in front of me.
Well, there are some very big names associated to this group, like Stephen Hawking and Elon Musk and everything, who are all basically say you got to be careful when you do something like this. All right, listen, we're at the bottom of the hour. We're going to take a break. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network, and the Blog Talk Radio Network. Aaron and I are doing computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities. We have a news tip bulletin review from Marty Winston. That's all coming up. Stay with us. You're listening to Computer America. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. Their mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
I've been expecting you. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Sengled Pulse LED speaker. Sometimes the early entries in a category get enough things wrong that you think the category itself is a non-starter. But then, when you least expect it, a new product gets it so right that you end up just grinning. That's what happened to us with the Pulse LED speaker by Sengled. It comes with a master unit and a satellite, each shaped enough like a BR30 flood lamp that it fits most places those bulbs go. As a 2700 degree Kelvin warm white LED, each is good for 600 lumens in a directed 105 degree pattern. An amplified speaker inside delivers 13 watts of audio per channel, enough for most residential rooms. Bluetooth 2.1 EDR makes it compatible with many sources, and an app offers handset or tablet control of volume and brightness, as well as a variety of equalization presets. Bottom line, the Sengled Pulse LED speaker fits stereo sound behind bright floodlights that fit almost any BR30 fixture. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Thanks for that, Marty. We're 33 minutes after the hour. You listen to the Computer America Show. That was a brand new News Tips Bulletin Review. Well, we have 2 new ones every single week here in the show. Ben is not here tonight. He is on his way to Florida. And in the meantime, filling in for him is Aaron, the executive producer for Computer America, and also his brother.
And comedic foil for Craig Grossman.
and committed what?
Comedic foil.
Comedic
I keep it jazzy.
Oh, I see. All right. Well,
I do.
And we're doing computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And we're just finishing up this story about artificial intelligence experts basically saying, be careful. We're quoting people like Stephen Hawking and Elon Musk that are a member of this committee. They're saying that the short-term impact of AI depends on who controls it. The long-term impact depends on whether it can be controlled at all. And that's basically, so we have to be super careful with this technology. Would you agree? Disagree? You would concur?
No, that's spot on. Is right now, because AI is so new, AI is similar to quantum computing. Once the first quantum computer comes out, it's going to be about who owns it, who controls it, because that person's going to have power over so much of devices. I mean, what does conventional cryptography mean in light of quantum computing? Likewise for artificial intelligence, it's going to be able to think.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Whoops! You just dropped off. There you were.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm cutting in and out, aren't I?
No, you're fine. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So yeah, I mean the issue is artificial intelligence if it's capable of outpacing any individual human. I mean, let's say the first artificial intelligence was developed by one of those black hat hackers we were talking about.
That's not good.
Well, yeah. So AI, by its definition, it almost can, should theoretically be able to outthink a human. I think Deep Blue has been outdoing chess masters since the 90s. Mm-hmm. So, what hope do we have? And that is what they're saying is artificial intelligence has the capacity to do powerful things. And who is making sure that it's ethical? All of us as human beings growing up in a society, that's we learn to live together and we play by the rules, and we know what the rules are by growing up, by virtue of growing up. And these devices are just being created. So who's to say they're going to do the right thing? How do they know what's right?
How do you think? I mean, you mentioned Deep Blue, and they finally got the grandmasters, and now that was in the 90s, and now of course it must be so much farther ahead. People still don't stop playing chess.
Yeah.
But you have to know that if you take on an endeavor, that there's a machine out there that'll beat you no matter how good you are.
Well, Deep Blue was more. I don't think Deep Blue was true artificial intelligence. I think Deep Blue was
brute force.
Exactly. It was a feat of computing power to where it could calculate probabilistically what the opponent was going to do. And as the game progresses, there's only a finite number of solutions, and it can, it will always make its most advantageous move. And if you do nothing but the best possible move, you're going to win a majority of the time. And that's not a computer outthinking a human. That's a computer having access to a database and a calculator.
Right, because when you're a grandmaster, you don't consider every single move. They're
Right.
You dismiss immediately. You don't even consider because you know that they're not.
Right.
That's a more elegant process, so that the computer doesn't really mimic what the human mind does, just using brute force.
Right. So.
Yeah, that's how Deep Blue won, but I'm wondering if they've improved on the algorithms too.
Well, I mean, see, but see, that's still thinking in the conventional way. Pre-artificial intelligence is, can we make a bigger database? Can we make a smarter algorithm? What is artificial intelligence? I mean, well, first, what is intelligence? That is where we going about our lives take in sensory data and process it in real time and make decisions. We don't. I mean, yes, we have a memory, but when you're driving your car, for instance, you're looking at the car in front of you, hazards, street signals, and when there's an emergency situation, you are just processing. You're not thinking about everything you've ever done in your whole life. Well, I mean, proverbially, your life flashes before your eyes, but that doesn't actually play a role. Your entire life does not actually play a role in that instant, and that is what artificial intelligence, would presumably be. Is it is taking in sensory data from everything around this artificially intelligent car and making a decision that is most, that's what this open letter is about. What is the criterion? Is this artificial intelligence, is its goal to protect the car, to protect the driver, to minimize, the loss to, human life? I mean, we don't. How do we know? That's the purpose of this open letter. Is we are developing cars that drive themselves. How can we make sure they're good drivers?
Uh-huh. So. All right. Well, that was a good story. It was interesting.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, let's continue on here. Speaking of cars, there's another one. Again, according to CNET, that Chevy has beaten Tesla to the 200-mile affordable electric car.
Yeah.
A Bolt.
So this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This story, and I just want to be really really quick about this one. What intrigued me about this one, is, for a long time, Tesla was really the only one in the market with fully electric cars, and that put the burden on them to develop the infrastructure of the electric gas station, so to speak, their charging stations. But now that we have a competitor in the mix, are they going to have the same burden of creating their own independent charging stations? Are they going to share that burden with Tesla, and we'll have a unified charging apparatus? Reading the article, it does seem to be they plan on sharing their charging technology. The fact that another automaker is getting into the business might mean really good things for fully electric automobiles going forward. We might see this actually start taking off now that there's someone else in the game.
Well, and if someone's going to do it, a company like
Chevrolet, absolutely, man, that's a huge name.
Well, I've always been worried with electric cars is that because, you can't take them out indiscriminately because the infrastructure of the electrical service stations are few and far between. And
it's true.
And so this is why you have to be careful with this. The more and more of them are becoming available, but you're still not they're not the same numbers you have with gas stations.
Yeah,
right? So
absolutely.
So we have a ways to go.
Although the Chevy, I'm sorry, did you say it was a Chevy Volt? What was the Chevy model? Chevy Bolt.
Yes, the Bolt. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Does seem to be priced competitively with other cars, but if you look at the Tesla, it was kind of expensive because it's still a new technology. So they went first for the luxury end. They went for the sports car because that's where you're going to get the most return. And someone who owns a Tesla is most likely going to own a car they could use for touring that uses conventional gas as well. So I think for now, electric cars are really more for day-to-day use, and you might have a gasoline-powered car that would take you out of town. Although, maybe with Chevy getting into the game, they would build, they would build on top of Tesla's infrastructure.
Yeah, that was
a third automobile.
That's what I'm hoping that as these electric cars come out, that we're not going to have to reinvent the wheel every single time with the gas station. But the existing gas stations out there should be compatible with all electric cars. Otherwise,
Exactly.
you have a Chevy and you pull into a Tesla station. Sorry, we only we only give power up to the Tesla one. That's crazy. They
Yeah.
need universal. They have to have some sort of standard. Otherwise, we're going to have the DVD and the 3 different types of DVDs and Blu-ray. All that's
Yeah. Well, it might even be as simple as, I mean, like once you have one of those stations built, you have the infrastructure there to deliver the current to the vehicle. It might be as simple as each one of these stations might be independently owned, and they might just have to lease the adapter. And so they'll have to have, just like different gas stations are owned, like there's Exxon, Shell, Hess, Mobil. I mean, there's all these different companies. You might have gas stations that lease the different adapters from the automobiles, and that's how they can do business.
That's how they're going to do it because, or it's like when you go to a gas station, you have premium, you have, and then you have diesel. But most every station now you can get diesel. So
hey, maybe it'll be regular, super premium diesel and electric.
yes,
Maybe conventional gas stations will start putting in the infrastructure if this starts taking off with more and more. I mean, that's how they're going to stay competitive. I mean, do we really think burning fossil fuels is going to be the way it's done 500 years from now?
No, probably not.
Not at all. So if they want to stay, competitive, they're going to have to. I mean, I see. Give it maybe one more automobile maker, a third one, and maybe 10 years, and we might see gas stations running the game.
We're going to have fusion-powered cars. You just put a teaspoon of water.
Oh, no way. No. No, that's way too. For reasons we'll have to get into when we have a full hour, that doesn't seem. We should actually find a guest who would be a great interview for that topic. Let me just keep it brief and say that's incredibly destructive technology you want to put in a car. We can't even drive combustion engines safely. Why would you want to put that in a car? Scary.
Okay. All right. Well, moving right along. This next story that you picked out is again from Tech News World. Experts forecast the end of privacy as we know it.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You might have to refresh me a little on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether privacy will be dead, ailing, or invigorated by a strong new piracy rights infrastructure is a matter of debate. But there is consensus over one thing. It won't be the same 10 years from now as it is today. The concept of privacy will shift, and much of our lives will be exposed. But we'll have a better understanding of what it is that we want to protect.
Right. So this story was about how it's very much tied into what we were discussing earlier with the Internet of Things. You're going to have all these devices that you're going to carry around with you at all times. Your cell phone, maybe your smartwatch, your computer. You might be working on a laptop if you're away from home. He said the average home these days has the target market of Bitdefender's box is a home with 10 devices, and Bogdan was saying there's potentially billions of devices coming down the road. All these devices are collecting data on you. They're analyzing your habits. They're providing you useful feedback on your habits. But in order for them to collect and analyze and provide feedback on your day-to-day activities, they're going to have to know a lot about you. And this, what the article is saying is, if you expect a right to privacy, you're going to have to reconcile that with the reality of the Internet of Things. How are they if we are expecting to leverage the Internet of Things and its big data potential, then we need to understand that it's going to collect data on you, and it will provide useful analysis that you might really appreciate, but there's going to have to be a serious, and that's actually what they're meeting to discuss. What can the end user really expect in terms of privacy?
Hey, I think we have Charles Tendell on the phone. Computer America, Craig. Hey, Charles, is that you? Hello, Charles. Hello? No, I guess not. Okay. Let's continue on. So this article finishes up here by saying that more than 2,500 internet experts and analysts were narrowly divided on whether policymakers and technology innovators would create a secure, popularly accepted, and trusted privacy rights infrastructure by 2025. You know, so.
So yeah, I mean it's going to be extremely difficult, especially since the Internet of Things has no unified standard, and no one can agree on what's private enough. I mean, you've got all different kinds. Basically every piece of the political spectrum has its own idea of what privacy means. So how can you get the technology, which is so vast and varied, and the politicians, which by definition can't agree? How can we get them all to come together? And so this seems like it was just a poll of, is it possible? And it was slightly pessimistic, but I mean, I think once we get closer and closer, we'll find. I think this will come together organically. I think by necessity we will have to agree, and when it becomes more of a real issue, the closer this is typical of everything. Once it becomes more of a real and an issue of our day and time and not tomorrow, we're going to put more attention, focus, and effort into getting it done and getting it done right.
All right. Okay. All right.
That's me being hopelessly optimistic, though. True to character.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're agreeing with mostly what they're saying in this article. They're saying what means you're going to kind of have to accept the fishbowl. How much of your privacy are we going to want to give up for security? I mean, these things are being implemented now. I mean, even when you take an airplane, you give up so much of your privacy for the security. So
there's a certain degree of trust. I mean, if I'm trusting my phone to use the pedometer to track how far I'm walking, the route I'm walking, if I want it to give me something useful, like, hey, here's a faster route, or if it's tracking my commute to work every day and suggests, hey, we've been checking traffic patterns of every other car in the city, and it turns out you can get to your destination faster if you go this way. Well, that's incredible. I would love to know how to get to my destination quicker and with less hassle, but I have to understand that my information about my daily route is out there somewhere, and that's just something. If we want to take advantage of this technology, we have to understand it's coming at the cost. And as long as it's not being and again, that's where the trust comes in. We are trusting these companies collecting this data and analyzing it for us, not to turn around and sell it to other third parties who would use it more maliciously and not so to our advantage. Are they trying to capitalize on this for their own gain or for our gain, as the user?
Yeah.
So.
Well, there are so many different things here. This next story here that you selected from CNN is the spaceship reinvented for new frontiers.
Oh, I like this one.
Yeah.
I actually saw something about this. Maybe I think it was a year ago. It was more of a concept. It was maybe 1 or 2 years ago. It was just a little concept video, but it seems like they're getting very much closer. Basically, the whole idea is, even if you look at, because there's been such a big hubbub about going back to space, especially the past couple of years. SpaceX, Virgin Galactic, a lot of these companies, they're trying to commercialize space travel and getting to and from space. Mm-hmm. And even these newer companies are still doing the conventional set a rocket up on a pad, launch it, most of it falls back to Earth, go collect the parts, hopefully it's reusable. It's disposable rockets. And this technology, is it called Skylon?
Yeah, no, it's called the Skylon.
Skylon, yeah, is a reusable rocket.
Right. It's a space plane. It's a space plane.
Yes. It's a plane capable of getting in orbit.
Yeah, but it does vertical
back and landing.
It does vertical liftoff. Yeah, it does. And this British
it needs a runway, doesn't it?
The British basically they're saying every rocket we launch costs hundreds of millions of dollars that can be used, and basically it falls apart when it hits the Earth again. And we've been doing it that way since the 1960s. So this space plane design is intended to withstand multiple uses and requires minimal repairs and turnaround time.
Yep.
Unlike the space shuttle, which still had to go on rockets, and they had to dispose.
Yeah.
This,
Exactly.
This is a plane that takes off. It requires minimal repairs and turnaround time, so it can function as a rapid response unit for space missions that go far beyond the existing horizon.
Sure. And the futurist in me just went nuts over this because if they show a cross section in the article of how this thing is powered, it's got two really massive liquid hydrogen tanks, and it breathes the oxygen in the atmosphere to power the reaction, and then it's got a much smaller oxygen tank once it's almost in orbit to really get the last leg once it's run out of air, and then it's in orbit, and then it can come back down and land conventionally. But here's what was so nice is I'm thinking, this just takes hydrogen, basically hydrogen and oxygen. Well, hydrogen and oxygen, what's the easiest way to get that? Exactly, you take water and you split it. So just hook up a bunch of solar panels, split your water into your constituent hydrogen and oxygen, feed it into the plane, and off you go. For the power, or for the cost of some sunlight, you now have reliable, repeatable transportation to and from space. And this isn't just some far off dream. The article goes on to say that this idea has really inspired a lot of innovation. They've come up with a whole lot of new ideas to really make it happen, and I think at the end it says something to the effect of the serious engineering issues have been worked out, innovations have been made, and this is just a matter of working out the final kinks and assembling it and putting it together.
Testing, and then the physics efficiencies of the engine depends on, and once they do that, they're there. That's it.
Exactly. So that's real. I mean, that is, as much as I'm a huge supporter of both Virgin Galactic and SpaceX, I do think both of them are, themselves innovative companies headed by, very visionary entrepreneurs. But once these guys, take to the new space race, the commercial space race, they're going to put both of them way in the past.
I have a question for you. Would you go to Mars with a one-way ticket? I asked it, Ben. I said, all the problems. Would you go? I mean, because
yes.
What happens if you get sick or something, and there's nobody? You can't go back home.
What do you think? What if Lewis and Clark said that, man?
Well, they could go home. You can't go home.
What? No, these are pioneers. These are the pioneers of humanity.
Yes,
and I think that is the long tradition of humanity, is to just push that frontier, go out there, even if it's scary and you don't know what you're gonna find. Just get out there and see it and do it and appreciate that it is something difficult and challenging, and in that way it is exciting. And that's I would find that exciting if given the opportunity.
You and Ben both would go to Mars one-way ticket.
To get away from you.
You don't have to go to Mars to do that.
Greenville seems far enough. You never come visit.
Well, you have. I'll tell you. Well, I always wondered about that. Ben said, he would go. I said, if they didn't have
why does Ben say he would go?
Well, I said, look, they don't have World of Warcraft out there.
How do you know that? I mean, you've got what is it, 26 minutes of latency, but you could do it in theory.
Boy, that would be a really slow game. Talk about lag.
Yeah. It's awful, man.
Oh.
Oh, but I mean, why does Ben say he would go? I'm curious.
He just said he would go. He didn't get exactly the reason. I hit him with the same objections. I said, look, what if you get sick? What if your appendix, is...
So he offered you no justification. He just said he'd go.
Yeah, he just said he'd go. He didn't really give me...
Yeah.
Maybe you should discuss with him and ask him, why he would go.
I am curious to know.
Yeah. Well, maybe when
if he says to get away from me, I'll be heartbroken.
I don't think.
The Crossman family is deeply connected with ties of abundant love. I want everyone to know that.
Yes.
Do not take these, on-air shenanigans to be representative of any animosity.
Hey, let me just take this time to mention that our Computer America contests are in full swing. As a matter of fact, our Logitech contest finishes this Friday. That's right, this Friday, the January 16th, at 12 midnight. We'll shut it down. We have 3 great prizes: the Logitech HD Webcam C310. The third place prize, the second place prize is the Logitech G400S optical gaming mouse, and the grand prize is the Logitech X300 mobile wireless stereo speaker, valued at $70. Head over to the ComputerAmerica.com, go to our contest page, click on the Logitech contest. The entry form is on the same page. You don't have to do emails anymore. Just fill it out, hit the submit button, and you're in. And while you're there, subscribe to our email newsletter, the weekly email show reminder. When you do that, every Monday you get the show reminder delivered fresh and piping hot into your email inbox. It is the only publication in the universe which tells you who's going to be on the show for the entire week. And from that subscriber list of names, we draw a winning name every Friday to win that Logitech T650 glass touchpad, wireless touchpad. Beautiful device. And we give one of those away every single Friday. So head over to our contest page at ComputerAmerica.com, enter in all of our contests. It's all free, no obligation, all private. We don't give your information out to anyone unless you win. Then we'll give them your contact info so they can mail you a prize. But that's it. Go to our contest page at ComputerAmerica.com and check it out. As a matter of fact, everything about our show
90 seconds.
is at ComputerAmerica.com. Well, that about wraps up the show tonight. Again, thanks to Bitdefender for being here with us. It was it was fun and very informative. And again, thanks to Bogdan for doing that. Tomorrow night, it's our Gamer Tuesday show. Grayson Hamilton is our gamer correspondent, and he's going to be here with us for both hours. He's just back from the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas, and he's going to talk about all the really cool
60
stuff
seconds.
that he's seen out in Las Vegas. That's going to be a really good show. Hey, Aaron, I want to thank you so much for being with us here tonight.
Anytime.
Filling in and, as executive producer,
Yep.
We'll have to send you some stock in the company. Oh, wait, I already did.
I would be more grateful if you threw Ben off every once in a while. This is actually a lot of fun.
Oh, right. You see what you're missing out on?
Or maybe Ben and I will kick you up once in a while, and we'll really burn the house down.
A break, huh? Okay.
Oh, man.
Well, thanks so much for everybody for being with us here, and Ben and I will see you here, same time, same station, tomorrow night. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow
10
night.
seconds.
Good night, world.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
All right, and thanks to all of you watching us on our live Computer America video streaming page. Thank you for being here, and as I said, Ben will be here tomorrow night. And thanks, Aaron, for being with us here on the show tonight. It was a lot of fun, really.
Got it. Oh, I enjoyed it.
Say goodnight to everyone.
Say goodnight to everyone?
Yeah.
All right. Good night, Alan. Good night, Adam. Good night, Jeff. Good night, Jimmy. Good night, Jeffrey. Good night, Steve.
We'll be
Good
here
night.
a long time.
Oh, wait, no. All right, hold on. Wait. Good night, Sally. Good night, Betty. Good night. It's just gonna take a while.
Good night.
I'll send them all emails.
There you go. Good night, everybody.
I'll program my fridge actually to send the emails out. It can send 10,000 emails a second if I program it right. But then those guys with the box killed it, so I gotta, figure out something new.
Good night, all.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.